Hi, in this video, we are going to review applied optimization as applied to business concepts. Now, last time, remember, we talked about applied optimization, and the general steps to optimize a word problem is 1. Find out what you're trying to optimize and come up with an equation or relationship. 2. Use the given information in the problem to make sure your equation is in respect to one variable, or in other words, set up your equation. Step 3. Take the derivative to find the critical points. Step 4. Once you have your critical points, analyze each one to see which one gives you the required optimization. Step 5. Use this critical point to answer your question. So let's go ahead and apply this to a business problem. Now we've went over several business concepts. This first example deals with revenue. Recall that revenue means money taken in. So basically the income for a business. Typically we set up revenue as price times quantity. How much you sell something for times how many things are you selling. Let's take a look at this first example. An apartment complex has 400 apartments. At $400 per month for each apartment, all the apartments will be occupied. Each $20 increase will produce 10 vacancies. Let X denote the number of $20 increases. What is the largest revenue that the apartment complex can generate? And we can see that the answer is supposed to be 10. So let's attack this problem using these bullets. So copy and paste this. So find out what you're trying to optimize and come up with an equation or a relationship. Well, when we look at the problem is asking what is the largest revenue that the apartment can generate. So we're trying to maximize our revenue. So let's write this out. Maximize revenue. Now, what is revenue going to equal to? Revenue is equal to. Normally, revenue, as I mentioned earlier, is price times quantity. Well, we're not selling anything, but we are renting out the apartments. And at the moment, we're renting them out for $400. So $400 per apartment times 400 apartments would give us our revenue. So that means our revenue is always going to be monthly rent per unit times the number of units. So let's go ahead and write that out. Monthly rent per unit times the number of units. And there you go. So that's our start. This will give us focus and it'll help us figure out how we want to proceed with the problem. So now let's go ahead and set up our equation. Use the given information to make sure your equation is in respect to one variable. Or in other words, let's set up our equation. The apartment complex has 400 apartments. At $400 per month for each apartment, all the apartments will be occupied. We'll have a full house. If I try to charge $20 more, I'm going to lose 10 people and I'll have rooms available. In fact, for each $20 increase, I will produce 10 more vacancies. Let X denote the number of $20 increases. So basically, if I charge more, I won't have as many people living in my complex. So let's go ahead and set up a table. You don't have to set up a table if you don't want to, but I'll set up a table just to help me find the pattern. So here's the monthly rent per unit. Here's the number of units. And then here's the revenue. And it equals rent times number of units. So at 400, so the monthly rent is going to be, in terms of units, it'll be the dollars per unit. And then of course this is units. And when I say units, I mean apartment units. And when you multiply those things together, if you think about it, the units will cancel and you'll be left with money or dollars. So we have $400 per unit times 400 units. That makes sense. Our revenue for that situation would be 400 times 400. But now let's increase this. So I want to increase it, and I'm going to add a $20 increase. So that's how our increments are supposed to be set up, each $20 increase. Now, when I add that $20 increase, I'm going to lose 10 people. And that's said here. We'll produce 10 vacancies. So I'll have 10 apartments not rented out. Now we can do the math there, just the quick little math, and we can see that's going to be 420 times 390. And let's keep on going. Now if I add another $20 to what I already had, that means I'm going to add $40 or 2 of these 20s. Okay, so that's what we mean by how many $20 increases are we trying to plan for. Now what turns out is if I increase another $20, I'm going to lose another group of 10 people. So I'm going to lose 2 groups of 10 people. So how does that play out with my revenue? Well, the calculation, 400 plus 40 will be 440. And then 400 minus 20 would be 380. Okay, so you can see our prices getting higher and the number of units getting lower. Now let me go ahead and insert another row here. So now we can go ahead and insert a row below. Let's set it up generically. The problem asks us to figure out, well, let's say we have X number of $20 increases. So that's right here. Let X denote the number of $20 increases. So we start off with 1 increase, 2 increases. What if we have just a general X number of increases? Well, each increase of 20 bucks is going to lose you that same number of groups of 10 people. And so we end up with a revenue for that generic situation or that general situation of 400 plus 20x times 400 minus 10x. And that leads us to our revenue function. So our revenue function is going to be working this out. So if I go ahead and run this through the distribution, I'll get 160,000 plus, let's see, that'll be a minus 4,000 plus 8,000, so plus 4,000x, and then minus 200x to the second power. Boom. And there you go. That's our revenue function. So there's our revenue function. Now, our next step is, well, we want to try to find the local max for this thing. We know this is a parabola in this particular case, so it is going to be there is going to be a max or a min, a local max or a min, and because it's a negative 200, it is facing downwards, concave down. Okay, so we're in the right area. So let's go ahead and use the calculus to find where that is. So to find the critical points, we want to take the first derivative. And so that's going to give us 4,000 minus 400x. Now, critical points, remember, are defined by where your first derivative is equal to 0 or undefined. Because this is a polynomial, polynomials don't have any inputs that cause them any problems. So there is not going to be any undefined values here. So let's go ahead and focus then on just the 0. So we'll set this equal to 0 equals 4,000 minus 400x. And solving this without going through all the math, I'll get 10 equals to x. So I'll subtract 4,000, divide by negative 400, and I'll get 10 is equal to x. And that gives us our critical value. So critical value at x equals 10. Now, that tells us at this point, x equals 10, we might have a local max, we might have a local min, or we might have a point of inflection. Geometrically, this tells us we have a horizontal tangent line there. So to help us determine what we actually have, now we have to use one of our tests. We have two to choose from, your first derivative test and your second derivative test. So let's go ahead and take the second derivative. This looks like a pretty doable second derivative. So we'll take the second derivative, and you end up with negative 400. Now we would want to plug in our critical value into this second derivative. But notice, in this particular case, in this specific case, this is always going to be a negative 400, no matter what we plug in, because there's no x value there. And so because it's always a negative result for our second derivative, if you think back to our notes, negative second derivatives for concavity mean that you're concave down. That means you're pointed downwards, which you already knew, and we have a local maximum. And now we know the value. X equals 10 will be a local maximum. So then that leads us to the rest of our problem. So the rest of our problem says, all right, we have a local max at x equals 10. Let's go ahead and take a look at our function, and let's figure out what the revenue would be at that x equals 10. So at x equals 10, r of 10 will be. So if I plug in that 10, I would have to have 160,000 plus 4,000 times the 10 minus 200 times the 10 to the second power. And that'll turn out to be, so if I do all the math here, 160,000 plus 40,000 would be 200,000. So plus 40,000 is 200,000. And then 200,000 minus 20,000 is 180,000. So 180,000. And so that will be our local maximum. Now let's take a look at this function with the graph, and let's see what we get. So I'm going to go ahead and let's go to Desmos, and let's confirm. Okay, and oops. And so if we scan out, we see our parabola, which is indeed over there. And if I scan out, oh, that's pretty high. There it is. And there's my vertex somewhere over here. And it should be around 100. 80,000. So I have to scan out a little bit further. Right there. And at 10, we have a maximum of 180,000. So our picture matches up with that. And furthermore, if we check out our domain, we'll see that our starting revenue will be 160,000 if we have 0 units rented out. And our x-intercept here, if I can get it in time here,